Hello, everyone. My name is Leng. I'm at Wake Forest University School of Medicine in North Carolina, here at the United States. So I'm really glad to share some of our work here. So my talk today might a little bit be different than the other talks. It's more like a data management. It's more big pictured, but I hope you enjoy it. Let me find the button to move this forward. Okay. So the structures will be some background of introduction of paper centers for those who are not familiar with this system or this program. And then I'll introduce the system itself. And I'm going to present a little bit the work in progress here at Wake Forest as well. So the Cloudy Paper Old American Independent Centers program, or for short is OAIC, is supported by the U.S. National Institute of Aging. And the goal of the OAIC program is to increase scientific knowledge that allows older adults to maintain or restore their independence. The OAICs are also known as paper centers. So these are exchangeable, so named to honor the late Senator Pepper, who Cloudy D Center, who championed this effort to create these centers of excellence. Currently, there are 15 Pepper centers in the United States. There's also the OAIC National Coordinating Center, or we call that OAIC-CC. Where you could find more information on their website and the resources as well. For Wake Forest OAIC, we started in 1992. Since then, we have been cultivating investigators and expertise to discover new pathways and develop and test new interventions to improve physical function and prevent and treat age-related disability. Our paper center activities are guided by a scientific theme, which is integrating pathways affecting physical function for new approaches to disability treatment and prevention. This theme provides a framework to align research activities across all center components. Our paper center emphasizes common age-related rather than disease-specific disability pathways. So the discoveries and the strategies can be applied to older adults across a range of comorbidities and different disease contexts. Currently, we have 7 cores working collaboratively to achieve the mission of our center. But I want to emphasize that one of our goals is to train the next generation aging researchers that will focus on disability treatment and prevention. So our biostatistics and the research information systems is one of the 7 cores. So we call that BIC for short. It's so long. It's an integrated component of Wake Forest OAIC. We contribute biostatistical expertise to multiple aspects of pilot studies, developmental projects, and externally funded projects, which are relevant to our theme and aims. We also participate in mentoring and collaborating with junior faculties to let them know how to use our data system. And then we also, of course, developed the novel statistical methods or applications to aging research. And finally, and importantly, we developed and improve a unique research information collection system for implementation in studies and translate them into a community and clinical-based settings. So this centralized data management system, it's called Integrated Aging Studies Data Bank and Repository. It's also long, so I just call that IASDR. IASDR. The IASDR is a web-based management system. Let me see. Okay, here. It houses data from our studies in a common structured format. So these data are collected following same or similar protocols. So nowadays you can harmonize data when you have similar data from different studies, but they are not following the same protocol, but we are following the same protocol. And this readily allows integration of summary statistics and the data across multiple studies, and to provide information on availability of activity, monitoring imaging data, and the biospecimen repository as well. So in the past, it has been providing information for our studies to meet the FIRE principle, if you know it, is fundable, accessible, interpretable, and reusable for the data, and also enables our investigators to efficiently capture and assess data from multiple projects to address a OAIC-wide research hypothesis, not just specifically to a single study. And it also permits the querying metadata to generate preliminary data for grant development, or provide data for secondary data analysis to get the results published. And this is especially valuable for the early career investigators who often lack preliminary data, but it also accelerates discovery process for all investigators. So the IASDR has 3 components as the graph here. So it has a publicly accessible registry to query metadata that indicates the availability of certain components, and also availability of the biospecimen and imaging data. So the Wake Forest, the study registry is also embedded in the OAIC-CC paper center registry. But in that registry, it has more than just Wake Forest data. And the second component is a search engine of descriptive statistics, providing more granular details for selected common assessment battery based on the filtering criteria. I'll show you later on, you can see that. And the third one is a quality controlled analysis ready participant level data sets. Basically, it's our raw data, and that's updated quarterly and in a secured system. And currently available data in this common battery includes demographics, body composition, physical performance, and disability measures as PET-D and MET-SF, and some cognitive function measures, and depression scale CESD as well. We also have some biomarker data across different studies, including IL-6, TNF-alpha, CRP, and other biomarkers. So the first component is available at a shared online platform. It's called WakeShare. This is a collaborative effort with Wake Forest Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, or ADRC. The investigators may query studies with the data of their interest. So for example, here, so there's a search box. If I put gait speed and DEXA, then only the studies with both measures will show up. In the table, there are also other informations, especially the study sample size and what is study about. And these are all publicly available. And since the registry is also embedded in the OAIC-CC, and you can also access similar information from the OAIC-CC website, but with metadata from other OAIC as well. For example, here, the first line is from Pittsburgh OAIC. And if you click on the study name, there's a brief description will show up to provide more information about the study you're looking at. and also the contact person if you need more information about the particular study. And the second component is a search engine. This component is currently only password accessible, but we're trying to work on through the different firewalls to make it publicly accessible. So here you can query the descriptive statistics for chosen studies and the chosen components. For example, here I chose female and who are 95 years or older, and I want to see their DEXA data. And the system will actually generate a summary table. You can just take a look at them. And you can go back to change query, look at other components as well. And the last of components is the actual data. It's sitting on our secured SQL system. And this is actually the backbone, is the most important, as you understand. So you can access them through using any statistical software. Use SAS, R, MATLAB, SPSS, anything. And one example here I want to show you is these are all the identified artificial data. For example, if I want to study the associations between inflammation biomarkers and the physical performance, I can just pull all the data with those information, and then I can perform integrated data analysis. It's not a meta-analysis because these data actually are together. Meta-analysis is from different protocols. And then you can get a summary table, and also you can generate different plots. And many of our junior faculties have been using this mechanism to develop their first aging study manuscript and to get them engaged into aging research. And just using the data through the IASDR. And currently, we are expanding the system to make a biomarker data uploader to accommodate the geroscience research at Wake Forest. And another one is a sample size query for our data system. And then we're also working with the imaging core to get imaging data query for their metadata. So this sample size query is still under development. So currently in our system, I forgot to mention, we have more than 50 studies over 30 years. And then the total sample size is more than 5,000. And this sample query, you can just click on or give the range of the value you are interested for different components, and you can have just give you the sample size. And if you want to develop a new proposal, you can use the system to get some preliminary data to support your research. And this is really a team effort over many years. And this effort is supported by the US NIH, Wake Forest Pepper Center, Wake Forest ADRC, and the OIC Coordinating Center National. And thank you for your attention. I hope you find this interesting. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks for the presentation, Iris Leng. Is there any questions for Iris Leng? Please go ahead. Please unmute your audio while asking questions. Is there any questions?
I think Nadine, Dr. Changfu had a question.
Yeah, actually I was applauding. Thank you, Iris.
That's fine. Thank you.
I do have a question. I am curious about who are the subjects of the data? I'm just wondering how they're recruited, and I'm just kind of wondering too what the consent process is.
Oh, so each studies, they have their own IRB. So within the Pepper Center, we have 7 cores, right? So we are the biostat core. There's also clinical research core. That core help to recruit participants. And every single pilot study, developmental projects, or the externally funded R01s, R21s, everyone has their own RRB, and everyone has their own consent form. And once they will consent just as any other studies, and then they have to pass our institutional RRB.
Okay, I'm asking that because I'm just in Canada. It's been brought to attention through some research that some participants' data is forwarded to I think government organizations without participants' knowledge. And so I'm just wondering, in the collection of the data through the individual projects, do the participants know that their data is going to be in this OAIC database?
Yes, so in the consent form, they know. And actually in the United States, as it is for the NIH studies, now we have to share our data. So that will be in the consent form. So it's required. So within a year of the end of any studies, you have to share your data and you have to deposit your data. And even for the clinicaltrial.gov, you have to provide all the summary statistics for your primary outcomes once the study ended. So in the consent form, they are notified and they are aware of this, but all the data are de-identified and no personal information available at all.
Wow, that's great. Okay, thank you, Iris.
Sure. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think so. Sandra has some questions. Please go ahead. Sandra.
Go ahead, Sandra.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, no, thanks for that. It's really interesting. And how does somebody become a member who's not from the States? Like, could I join and become a member of this and access these data?
So our components have PUPs. If you have an idea, I think it's available to investigators outside paper center as well. You just need to work with a paper center investigator, because somebody has to know the data. So you work with the RBL statistician and we'll do the analysis. But if you have a paper proposal, I think we can facilitate that. You can either check on the national website or go to our Wikishare, just checking when there anything you're interested. There's so many data types, just including, I didn't mention that, activity monitoring data.
Yeah, no, that would be really interesting. And the remote sensor monitoring as well as the wearables. Yeah, that would be quite interesting.
Let me send my email address in the chat. If anybody interested, you can reach out to me. I'll see what we can help to facilitate your aging research.